I was born in the year 1993. Woo! 1993 was a major year for any gamer that loves first-person shooters. This is because Doom was released. Although Doom was not the first-person shooter, Doom is the most influential first-person shooter game that has brought any gamer to play their favorite first-person shooters today. ID Software, the company that published and made Doom, they introduced the genre of first-person shooters. The very first-person shooter was Wolfenstein, which was published in 1992. Wolfenstein was a basic 2D shooter about a German soldier on a foreign planet fighting his way through survival, through the halls and the rooms of fending off swarms of aliens. Almost exactly a year later, what would be considered the most influential game of all first-person shooters was Doom. Wolfenstein is about a marine that must fight demons and zombies on a base to Mars. Doom was the offspring product of a more advanced graphic and violent Wolfenstein. Doom's highly more advanced controls, graphics, and impressive gameplay would revolutionize the first-person shooter's world. What would Doom introduce to the world to be so revolutionary? Well, we're going to compare and contrast Wolfenstein to Doom, and you'll see from the first-person shooter to this supposed game that is supposedly the most revolutionizing game, you'll see what its credentials that it lives up to. Start off with, Wolfenstein was made in 1992 and Doom was made in 1993. That is a year-long time gap. Wolfenstein is a two-dimensional game, and a year later, the same company, ID Software, made Doom, a 2D/3D aspect game. That is a major accomplishment to just one-up a dimension. The reason why behind this is so cool and what it is, Wolfenstein, if you've ever played it, it was like looking through a constant straight image of halls and rooms. You go and you just follow. I mean, there was no turning. I mean, there's no angles of seeing, whereas in Doom, you were looking from right angle corners, fixed height ceilings. The Y-axis was carefully manipulated where you can see corners where you could creep through to kill those zombies. Another great aspect of Doom is it brought the real life effects. This was one of the first games to do that. It brought flickering lights, or how about that sound when you open a door or when you close it, whoosh. I mean, Doom it made that sound. It added these real life aspects to the game. And now any first-person shooter, I mean, what makes them is the shooting, the weapons, the weaponry. Wolfenstein, you had 3 to 4 different weapons options, and you were only carrying one at a time that you could use. Now look at Doom. Doom brought you the aspect of using 2 weapons at a time, and not to mention the chainsaw. And you had a multi-selection. You didn't have 4 little guns. You could use a chainsaw, use a gun, you could use a knife. I mean, there was so many options. Wolfenstein, I mean, this was just within a year, like the creators, they just said, hey, let's throw more things in here. Another thing that made this more realistic for Doom was how, as I said before, when you were playing Wolfenstein, you were looking down a hall and looking to the right, or looking through rooms. You weren't physically turning. Whereas in Doom, you were physically turning. This was a breaking point for any game, not just first-person shooters. But I mean, it stood its ground. You could climb stairs, you could go up elevators, you could jump platforms. This was just revolutionizing. Revolutionized as far as the world of applications and computing. It introduced online play. When you think of online play, you probably think of playing Xbox Live and playing on the internet. Well, that's exactly what the creators of Doom did. They created and coined the term deathmatch. That was like a 4-person match of just solid killing on an LAN only line. for PC gamers. That was incredibly cool. Doom influenced the world of online play with its multiplayer kill application from playing PC to Xbox Live. Doom was the first to use a modular content system. Some gamers and cheaters might know this as modding, meaning the files could be augmented or replaced with user-created content. I mean, this was the first game that was available free on the alpha, where you could just throw in like Barney, a dinosaur, and you could just kill it, and you would have your own experience with it. And that was just so much fun. One final thing I have left to say is that many of your favorite games would be influenced by Doom. So to name some off the bat, there's some such as Halo, Call of Duty, Gears of War. I mean, without Doom, there would have been no concrete set on how to play these games, like how to create them. It wouldn't be as visual and as entertaining as it is now. And this is how Doom has pretty much revolutionized the world of computing and gaming. Thank you.